Force fans, the team is back and playing some great hockey this season. The Force brings a lot of action and a winning team back to Shields Arena for another great matchup with a concourse that is action-packed for kids, including a rock climbing wall and fun for all ages. The Fargo Force play host to the Youngstown Phantoms at Shields Arena Friday, March 22nd and Saturday, March 23rd. So bring your friends and family for a great time with food and beverage specials. Get your tickets at Shields Arena box office or at fargoforce.com. Come for the hockey, stay for the fun.
Game on! Game on! He shoots, he scores! 1 for 1! That is going wild! Score!
The hockey guys are on the air.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
The hockey guys. The tradition continues.
Okay, guys, show us what you got.
Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get me a beer.
Welcome to another edition of the Hockey Guys. We got the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Coach Dean Wilson, and the GOAT surgeon, the gift of God in his hands, in his mind, Dr. Phil Johnson, and I am the wise one, Jeff Bradall. Got a great show today, folks.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Yeah, we kicked Eddie out of the studio, told him to behave himself. He has a one-show penalty flag? Is that what you threw last week, Wills?
You know, I'm not.
It's not a flag. Is when you throw the beer can on the ground.
I'm picking on Baywatch because he's not here. I don't want to pick. That's not always. But I heard a shark went around him a couple times in the ocean and kind of scoffed him, said not enough meat on the bones, and went right by him.
Are you saying he's David Hasselhoff?
No, I'm not saying anything. You know, I hope he has a great trip and he stays safe.
Yes. Hey, listen, we got a big, exciting show today. And hopefully we can fit everything in if the time permits and we get the calls that do come in. We have Tim Sandy coming on right away this morning to visit about his son, Zack Sandy, playing for Duluth last night, getting his first victory, and that'll be fun, Wills.
Oh, exciting. You know, Tim and I worked together, a great hockey mind, great baseball player. The father, you know, AAA for the Mets, got that high up there, and well, I got to be real quick here because I had him and Rick Helling at Shanley, and they weren't allowed to play dodgeball. They throw it Mach 5 at your head, you have those octagon volleyball marks on your face for 2 weeks.
And we have one of the top women's coaches in the world, Brian Idalski, coming on at 9:33, and potentially a special guest, Tessa Bahomey from TSN. Bonhomme. There you go. Bonhomme from.
But I think her last name is Fiore now because she is married.
TSN.
We're trying to get her on the line.
Network in Canada. She has done it all. National championship, gold medal, professional women's hockey. She has done it all. But let's visit with Tim Sandy. He's a legend in his own. Tim, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, listen, why I called Wills this morning. We said, we got to get you on. There has been other players in the Fargo Metro that have played Division I college hockey, but your son has been the I would say the latest, and he's up in Duluth. Your son Zack had a good game last night and pulled out the victory.
Yeah, it was quite a night. It was just one of those games that was wide open and just goals were going in. He probably let in a couple that, you know, visiting after the game that he wished he could have back. But in the end, the team just responded and played so hard for him, and I was just so proud of the team and Zack.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had Coach Scott Sandlin on a few weeks ago, and he talked about the injuries and the loss of players up and down the roster, specifically in the center position. But I'll tell you what, St. Cloud, that Duluth knocked off 6-5 last night with the help of your son in net. Duluth was fighting for everything because I tell you what, their continued playoff hopes in the NCAA tournament is on the line. Frankly, it's on the line tonight. So any news whether Zack's going to be in the pipes tonight?
You know, we haven't heard, but we're 99% sure he won't be because it's senior night and we have a senior goalie. and that was kind of the plan, to play him. And his parents and family are here, and then we really can't move anywhere in the standings, so we're pretty sure, but we haven't heard officially, but we don't think he would be.
Well, Tim, this is we told you we're going to keep you for a couple of minutes. This is going to be my last question. I don't know if Goat Wilson has a question or Goat Doc Johnson does, but here's the deal. Think back, sit back. You were Mr. Everything in baseball. You were one hell of an athlete growing up. Tell me, you watched your son. Tell us what the pride and what was in your heart, your gut, your mind. Tell us what you thought last night about your son.
You know, when it was pretty special when he skated onto the ice, you know, just to see that he arrived and is playing at that level. I always kid with everybody because before and after the games are really fun as a goalie parent. But really during the game, it's like pure torture. My wife and I are moving all over the rink trying to find that lucky spot. And we ended up way in the upper deck, and you know, it was just, but it's tough being a goalie dad and parent. You know, when you know, a couple went in last night that you're like, ooh, we probably should have had that one, but you know, just with all the Division I hockey thing, that was his ultimate goal. You know, for the last 10, 12 years of his hockey career to get to this moment, and then just to see it happen and finally get a chance to play. You know, we just couldn't be more proud of Zack.
Well, Wills has a question for you.
You know, it's fun to see I've known you for a long time and seen your family grow up, and it's got to be a different vibe. I know Dr. Phil was a goalie, and I couldn't imagine being a goalie's parent. But the question I want to ask you is, who's your most second favorite coach of all time besides Harder with baseball? Who's your second most favorite?
My second most favorite, but for sure, Dean Wilson.
Hey, Jake, turn that up on the volume, man. Turn it up on the volume.
Yeah, record that. You know, Tim, it's just fun. I know you've been involved in college hockey since you've been a youngster. But you take a look at local players. Cameron Burks scored his goal, just a goal scorer for North Dakota. And you look at Ben Strenden, and I know Ben and Zack, I think, played together in their early years at South Shanley. But, boy, Ben had a heck of a game last night. Just a physical beast last night on the ice. And Cameron Burke just puts the puck in the net. Tell us what you think about local hockey and the players that you've seen now move on into Division I college hockey of late.
Yeah, it's really fun to see. You know, we got a Tyler Clevin on our team from Moorhead, and then Tyler Clevin, you know, from Fargo, you know, that played up at North Dakota a couple of years ago, and it's just really fun to see local kids make that because, you know, when you play in North Dakota, you're kind of on the outskirts of, you know, where scouts are and people can come see play, and you wonder if they can ever make it. And then to see these kids, you know, making it to junior hockey and then to college hockey and then on to pros is something really neat to see.
Tim, who's the other guy from? I always forget his name, and we don't give him enough credit either. He played at Davies.
Yeah, Cody Heiskanen.
Oh, yeah, he was.
He's a dude doing really well. He bumped up a league now, too. He's getting close to ringing the bell.
Yeah, he's been 4 years at Cornell. Yeah.
Yep, he did. Yep.
Well, Tim,
I know
listen.
He's a good dad and a good family. Yep.
Well, he was the defensive stalwart for Cornell for those 4 years. But, Tim, thank you for visiting with us this morning. We had to get you on because I knew you would be excited, and frankly, we're excited for your son for getting the opportunity. Aaron Walski, I remember, from Fargo North.
Oh, yeah, Aaron Walski, goalie at North Dakota. Yep.
Nate Nolan, remember him?
I know there's somewhere missing, and you apologize if you missed some, but yeah, it's just fun to see the local talent getting there and making it and getting a chance to play at this level.
For sure.
Hey, Tim, have a rest of a good day and enjoy the victory with your son.
You bet. Thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, you bet. Thanks, Tim.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, listen, we talked about Brian Idalski coming up at 9:33. We're still waiting to hear back from Tessa Bahomey. What is it? Bahome?
Bonhomme.
one of those
You
French,
just stick
French,
just Tessa.
Canadian.
Just stick to Tessa.
Tessa, yes.
Well, I want to speak a little French to her when we get her on here. So,
Well, here's the scoop. We had Barry Melrose on about 4 years ago. Tessa would be just as equal in my mind. The difference is she has done it all. But listen, come back. Exciting hockey talk. Hanging in there with us. We'll hear
We want to
from
talk
you.
about
We'll hear from
women's
you
hockey
shortly.
a little bit.
I'll have a glass of lemonade.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's sour.
I ran out of sugar, so I just added more lemons.
Ever feel like you may have made the wrong choice? When you shop Valley Pre-Owned with our 3-month, 3,000-mile limited warranty and 7-day, 1,000-mile exchange policy, making a good choice is easy. See the full inventory now at valleyimports.com. Drive it, love it, or return it. Valley Pre-Owned.
From the land of sky blue waters.
Instantly brings back memories of Ham's beer. First brewed in Minnesota in 1865, Ham's became one of the most iconic beers with one of the most recognizable bears in American history. These days, Ham's is still brewed in that true family tradition, using the purest water and choicest barley, grain, and hops. Known far and wide as the beer refreshing. For you, we keep a light on and a door open to the land of sky blue waters.
From the land of sky blue waters.
Get $50 off your prom suit package. That's right, $50 off only at Halberstadt's West Acres Mall. For 2024, get a free tie bar and socks with your prom purchase package. Includes, ready for this, a suit coat, vest, pants, shirt, tie, and kerchief. All yours to keep. Our expert staff will help find the perfect pieces to make you look and feel your best. Suit up, stand out, and own your prom with Halberstadt's West Acres Mall.
The new DJ's Grill and Lounge in Sweet Shots is a whole lot more fun with Trivia Tuesday, live music Thursday, and bingo on Sunday. Play the new charitable e-tabs and board games to go along with the new daily drink and food specials. It's the all-new DJ's Grill and Lounge inside Sweet Shots. They have delicious new traditional wings in a variety of flavors, including buffalo, chili lime, and PB&J. And they have designer purse bingo the last Wednesday night of the month. That's the new DJ's Grill and Lounge inside Sweet Shots in Fargo.
Hi, I'm Shannon Full, President and CEO of the Fargo Moorhead West Fargo Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber's mission is to be a catalyst for growth and prosperity for our region. Every day, we work to promote and protect our businesses, inspire individuals, cultivate communities, and influence action. We have countless opportunities and experiences waiting for you. We have a seat at the table for you. Find your passion area and engage with us today. Learn more at fmwfchamber.com.
Your diesel truck works hard, whether it's pulling a skid steer, working on the farm, or driving to work each day. If it's not 100%, that can be a problem. Is your diesel pickup not running like it used to? Now is the time to contact the team at ATI Diesel in Fargo. They know Duramax, Power Stroke, and Cummins inside and out. Get your light-duty diesel pickup to ATI Diesel in Fargo, where they have a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on new parts and labor. Keep your diesel pickup working at its best with ATI Diesel in Fargo. That's ATI Diesel in Fargo.
This has to be a song the GOAT Wilson knows.
I've seen Elton John by himself with Billy Joel.
I don't want to hear that one.
Benny the
Dr.
Jets.
Phil.
It's great.
You know, I saw Elton in Winnipeg, and he came out and played that song first. You know, and
Just
Benny,
one ding on that thing, and everybody goes nuts.
Yeah, and Benny is the mascot for Winnipeg, and they didn't have him come out. I thought that would have been pretty cool, but apparently they would have stole from the show, I guess. So.
Well, let's take a look at.
Hey, I just have one comment.
Okay.
I know this is a hockey show, but my daughter's very good friend who plays for the University of Michigan women's basketball team had a big upset yesterday down in Minneapolis, beating Indiana in the Big Ten basketball championship for women. So now they have to take on Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. I don't know how that'll go. But
Hey, speaking about women's basketball, have you seen the professional women's basketball?
Yeah.
How they play?
Yeah.
Shit. Excuse me. They would kick our butt. They would kick our butt.
That's not hard.
Oh. Man, what athletes.
Oh, I know.
What athletes.
And they can shoot the ball, too.
I remember when North Dakota High School first started having women's basketball, and all of us boys went to the gym to watch their first tryouts. They were using both hands to dribble the ball. It was just like, this isn't going to go anywhere. And then over time, you look at it now, man, those gals are athletes.
Yeah. Well, and they're filling the Target Center here for this tournament. I mean, it's been amazing, the transformation of women's basketball in particular. Since this Caitlin Clark has been really pursuing the record, and now she has it, and all this. And I think it's going to spill over to the other women's sports a little bit as well, into hockey, and certainly we hope so.
Well, women's athletics, I mean, over the years, you look at records are being broken because they're getting the same opportunities that men did, and they deserve that.
Yep.
I mean, even with my daughters playing 10 years ago, you had couple gals that were great hockey players. Now you look, I think of Parker Metz with the high school team. From 1 to 20, it's pretty balanced, good hockey players.
Well, it used to be back in the day, working out and getting strong was not the cool thing to do, if you were female. Now they understand that, hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for my body. It's a good thing in general health. But also it makes me a better player. And so you see that uptick. And so a lot more of the female athletes are participating in that off-season stuff, and specifically the training. And I think it's a good thing. They're elevating the game. It'll be interesting to talk to Brian and just see, where do we go? How do we make this even better? So that it's more participation with fans.
I say two things on that. And Wills, I'm going to give you the first the first comment on what I have, and then Dr. Phil on the second one. I look at the coaching in women's hockey right now at a local level. You got Pat Johnson, the legend, and you got Parker Metz, the legend. The coaching of girls high school hockey in the Fargo Metro, off the charts. So you have the development of coaching, the young coaches that have played the game at a high level, and I don't care whether it's a man or woman. The coaches now have played, and they know the game at such a high level. The other one is this. I think I'm going to take exception about equal opportunity in women's hockey. I think USA Hockey needs to step up, and they need to start a USHL for women's league and have it pay to play. I don't care like they do in Canada, but it's to have kids, high school kids, go right from high school into college. Now, I know there's after season, before season teams. It's great. That's at a local level. But there needs to be, even if it's a mini USHL, there needs to be a league that the girls can compete in. The women can compete in after high school before they go to college. And you have the USHL teams right now. You're going to just add those women's program on a pay-to-play. They got the administration. They got everything. But I would really like to see that being an option.
In a perfect world, that would be the way to go. Unfortunately, we live in an imperfect world, and it's all driven by money. You will never get that going unless you have a revenue stream that makes it work, and you know that. I mean, the USHL has a revenue stream, and so if you can duplicate that and get people in the building, that was my whole thing. How do they make that game better so people will get interested and want to come and watch them play? With the USHL, it's a business, and they're not going to fund that unless there is a revenue stream that makes it supportive. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And how do you work through that? I don't know.
I was thinking last night, the USHL team could be allowed to add one more coach. They have the administration. They got the facilities, right? And that one extra coach would be in charge of the women's program. And if it's a pay-to-play, the money issue would not be for those teams. It's unique for the USHL, obviously, since it's not pay-to-play. But I think you're giving a start to a program. I would like to see it for women's basketball, going from high school to the college women's game. There's a huge gap there. There should be a program there. But I think in USA Hockey, with the money, with USA Hockey's donations, there needs to be a league. I don't care if it's a 5-league team, 6-league team. Bring the top 120, 130 players, let them play, and every one of those gals, it would be a terrific game to watch. And those players every year would be moving on to Division I college hockey. And if you were Coach Idalski, who we're going to have on at 9:33, wouldn't you want to recruit a player that plays in 50 games against the top high school graduates in the country? Wills, wouldn't you want to?
I've always pushed for more games and stuff, but, just in the last...
Don't tell us no. Tell us how. I know money is the root of all evil. We got to put that aside and say, how can we accomplish that? Real quick, and then I want to move on to a couple other things.
Well, first of all, you got to have competition. In this neck of the woods, East Coast has always been big with girls hockey. I mean, we had a handful of girls head out there, the Boston colleges, Brown University. Girls hockey has always been, there's a big pocket in there, and it kind of floods over to Toronto, Montreal. Big pocket of a lot of girls playing there. You need competition. You know what I mean? And the only way to do it, I think, around here, you got to head up north. I mean, you got to open those borders up. You got to, and I was thinking about this today of crazy questions to ask Brian. Do you have a league? We talked about with guys. Do you play Canadian universities? Are they all together? How does that work? Two different countries, right? How do you make it better? You got to create competition. How do you get those games? And I think that's the first problem: is how do you get going? And I know you want to set up dollar-driven aside, but there's so many major universities that a few programs keep the whole university going. So to say that one doesn't make money over the other, to me, it usually balances out with the crazy big programs like football. A lot of major universities carry the cash flow.
And absolutely, I just read an article this morning. The University of Michigan generated $127 million in their football program alone. Second was basketball at $8.8 million. Nowhere could be found did the hockey program generate money, and they don't have a women's hockey program, interestingly, at Michigan. They've got a club. Mm-hmm. So it is all dollar-driven. And if you're going to try and make that argument that, and just look at 75 miles north of us, they couldn't sustain it because it was such a money drag. But it's, unfortunately, in the world we live in, it's all about the money.
Why does Jamestown and why does Bemidji and why does St. Cloud and all these programs popping up why do they make it work? So I got to do my little tug to get it back, UMD.
And maybe they've got a better business model. They've been more efficient. They don't have the big expenses, perhaps, and travel's the one that kills you. That's the number one.
For sure.
So they figured it out somehow, I guess.
Well, if there's a will and a want, and it's easy for me to just simply say, if you buy a men's hockey ticket, you buy two, you're buying one women's.
That's kind of how it was with UND. I mean, when you had the suite tickets, you basically got the free girls game along with the men's.
Well, you talked about last week about piggybacking. Remember the sites for basketball, they used to play in the same, the game before and again. So you tag the whole crowd.
Right.
So 2-for-1 sale, right? You get two great games.
Yep.
And you're there.
But then the argument I heard this week, which was interesting too, is that the arenas don't want that because they're finding it hard to get people to work for that 5 hours. And, and I get it because I see, the limited employment. And so they would rather split them up and have a women's day and then a men's day so that the people that are working are not getting overworked and overtaxed with two games in one day.
All right, 20 seconds. NCHC play final weekend. North Dakota loses to Omaha, 3-2. North Dakota was at 3. Now they're at 3. Omaha has back at 16 where they were when they won. Denver loses to Colorado College. Denver was 4th. Now they're 3. Colorado College, who wins, were 10th in the pairwise. Now they're 11th.
I don't get that.
Go figure that out. Miami 2, Western Michigan 3.
New math.
Western Michigan goes from 15 to 12th after losing. Lastly, St. Cloud, number 17, loses to Duluth, as we mentioned. Now, St. Cloud 16. Listen, we'll be back. Coach
It's
Idalski
truck
right
season
after
and
this.
time to save up to $10,000 on a new Chevy Silverado with trade at Gateway Chevrolet. Gateway Chevrolet's lot is loaded with new Chevy Silverados, and qualified buyers get as low as 0.9% APR when you finance with GM Financial on all 2023 and 2024 Silverado 1500 models. That's right, save up to $10,000 on a new Chevy Silverado with trade at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com. That's gatewayfargo.com.
Discover the beautiful new Center for Special Surgery, located in the Rivers Bend Medical Center in West Fargo. As the first surgery center to offer outpatient total joint replacement in the state, it is on the cutting edge of outpatient surgical care. An exclusive independent multi-specialty center in the FM area, uniting surgeons in orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, plastics, and spine. Experience a more personalized and efficient approach to surgical care. Find out more online at specialsurge.com.
Hello from the WDAY News Center. I'm Ty Schoenert with your news update. A teen in custody after he allegedly killed a man with a knife before dawn March 7th. Police say their witness used a phone to record the event, happening around 3 a.m. Department sources say the victim, identified as 24-year-old Anthony Economy, was declared dead at the scene after suffering wounds to its upper torso, getting stabbed in the heart. If convicted, the 17-year-old suspect reportedly could face life in prison without the possibility of parole. Minnesota lawmakers working on ways to improve housing access across the state. Some DFL members placing their focus on worker exploitation in affordable housing construction projects.
We absolutely can and must build more affordable housing across Minnesota, and we absolutely can and must do so in a way that pays living wages and honors and respects the workers that are building those homes. And that's what this bill will do.
DFL Representative and Housing, Finance, and Policy Committee Chair Michael Howard. Howard says the state cannot look the other way when workers are being exploited. A proposal would place wage and safety requirements on contractors receiving low-income housing tax credits and tax increment financing. And most Minnesotans in support of legalized sports betting. The study showing 56% of people back sports betting legalization, while 22% are in opposition. I'm Ty Schoenert with WDAY Radio Now.com. First with the news when you need to know.
Mainly sunny for today with wind switching out of the west around 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll have a high temperature near 42 degrees and cool down towards 21 for tonight with clear skies and a southeast wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour. On Sunday, south winds will kick up around 10 to 20. It'll still be mainly sunny with a high in the low to mid 50s and close to 60 degrees for your Monday with partly cloudy skies. From the WDAY Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
All right, here you go.
What is this?
Your extra parts from when I put your car back together.
Ever feel like you've made the wrong choice? When you shop Valley Pre-Owned with our 3-month, 3,000-mile limited warranty and 7-day 1,000-mile exchange policy, making a good choice is easy. See the full inventory now at valleyimports.com. Drive it, love it, or return it. Valley Pre-Owned.
The team at Citywide Electric has over 60 years of experience in electrical work. Experience you can trust for design, repair, and installation of any home or business electrical project. A small local company working in the communities where they live. Nolan, Bryce, Brady, and Jay work hard to get projects done on time, while Kevin and Mason take pride in finding quick and cost-effective solutions. Sean, Cody, and Brent use knowledge to assist in designing a solution that makes your life easier. Citywide Electric, your trusted electrical team in the Dakotas and Minnesota. Online at citywide-electricnd.com.
Listen, we're talking about the Thunder Road. We're talking about the Thunder Coach, the greatest of all time, Coach Brian Idalski, St. Cloud Huskies. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You bet. We have been talking women's hockey primarily throughout this whole program, and give us a quick rundown of your program this year, where it ended up, ups and downs, and any local players. Shout out to the listeners here and to their parents who are listening.
Well, that's a mouthful. So, second season here back in St. Cloud State, and we were top 10 most of the season. So taking our step, I felt like development-wise, program-wise, that's the most they've been ranked in the last 2 years. Since they've been ranked in 25 as a program. So taking some steps, got a good group of younger players, and unfortunately had some senior kids that will be moving on to hopefully play professionally. So overall, good year, but we are done. And looking forward and going through the recruiting cycle and free agency and the transfer portal right now. So
I like that, free agency.
Hey, Brian, Dean Wilson here. Glad to have you on here. I got a few questions for you.
Dean.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to hear your voice. Been a long time.
Yeah, for sure. But I'll throw it out to you. I don't want to pronounce names because I always butcher names. I got a gift with that. But, you had one of the top goalies in the league, in the nation. Hey? I mean, is she an underclassman?
Yeah, both of our goaltenders are super good. We split both of them. So Sonia Ola was goaltender of the year in the WCHA and is a Finnish national team player. So she'll be playing in the World Championships here in a couple weeks, beginning of April. Our goaltender is from Chicago, Illinois, just got invited to the USA camp, picking players for the World Championship as well. So she's in their player pool and one of the top 6 goalies for the U.S. We're blessed to have 2 great goaltenders, and that's where it starts when you can start turning the program around.
Another thing I got, the big buzz in the guys' side is that the parity. You see that in the girls' side too, big parity. You split on the weekend. Friday night you win, Saturday you lose or whatever. You see a lot of parity. You see that a lot in girls hockey now?
Well, I would tell you on the women's side of things, the player pool is much larger than what it was my first go around. So I kind of talk to people. If you were playing a top team and you had a third line out against another team's top line, like you were going to get scored on. That's just the way it was. Now the depth, I can play a fourth line. I can play a fourth line regularly. They can take minutes against our top team's lines. That just wasn't the case, and that's a credit to the development of the game, but also the player pool becoming much larger. So I see some of that parity. I see some of that. But the other problem for us is the gap between have and have-nots and Power 5 schools and, some of the other schools. That's a big gap finances-wise in what's happening in college athletics.
Brian, Phil Johnson here. I was one of the team docs with USA Hockey for over 22 years, and we had this conversation all the time, whether it's the Olympic level, whether it's the high school level, or it's college level. How is it possible to grow the women's game so that it will attract more fans? It will be more fun, because that's always been kind of the bugaboo. They just haven't been able to maybe draw as much as the guys do, and so let's face it, it's a business after a while. I mean, you gotta have some revenue. Is there some things that need to happen with the game, whether you institute checking? That was always one thing. Oh, put checking in, that'll really draw them. Or is it more of the development of the young girls, and it's from a grassroots process, much getting them interested at a younger age so that we can grow the women's game more, and therefore have more players and make it more exciting?
Yeah, well, I would tell you that some of those projects have started. So Sweden, 2 years ago now, instituted full checking along the wall. Mm-hmm. So there's no open ice hits, but they're allowing someone to now play through their hands and take the puck physically and basically finish their checks. So that was a great start. I tell you, the PWHL has also done a nice job of allowing a little more physicality.
Right.
Into the game, as well as even the WCHA. Like, you watch our games, for all intents and purposes, it's full checking along the wall. And so, I think that's a start. I would tell you from some of the crowds and some of the things happening with the new pro league that they're onto it. I also think just being visible helps. And so even at the college level, there's some schools that are doing a really good job when it comes to marketing and brand and having crowds, and there are some places that do not. So, but I think that goes into the greater issue of resources, investment, and so we're hopeful that the Pro League's off to a great start and the PWHL can continue to grow and expand.
You know, I watched some of that women's professional hockey. Man, that's good. That's really fun hockey to watch. And you're right. It's going to cause some of those youngsters out there that hesitate whether they want to play hockey or basketball. Hopefully that professional women lets the kids know, hey, there is an option after college, and you can continue your career.
Well, just seeing it. I mean, you've got to see it to be it is kind of the mantra. And so just watching and seeing players at that level competing and then aspiring to be them, that's a huge thing. So it's great to see the crowds, and it's great to see that that's kind of taken off, and the physicality, and all the games are close. It's really interesting watching best on best and how players are reacting to that and being in that environment. And so I think they're off to a great start.
Say, Brian, you mentioned the pool of players. Is that pool of players that you're recruiting from, is that coming out of high school?
Well, yes, but I would also tell you women's hockey with the COVID year has displaced a lot of players. And so more and more you're seeing players who are taking an extra year post-high school, just development-wise and just solely because there's not room on a lot of college rosters. So the stat I saw last year was WCHA had 125 fifth-year players. Well, that displaced 125 kids that would normally be freshmen and coming into programs. It kind of pushed them to take another year. And even for us, we have a couple committed players that, we pushed back a class because we just didn't have the room, but we liked them and we liked, their work ethic and grit and, what they brought to the table. So we just agreed that they would come in a year later.
Is this the last year of the COVID years? Is that...
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what happens because I thought the product coming back, obviously being older and having that many more mature players made the game that much better. I was really impressed coming back from being overseas with the on-ice product in the WCHA specifically. Like there's a legit 4 teams in this league that internationally could be playing for a bronze medal. Like that's crazy how much the game had improved while I was gone for those 3-4 years. So it was good to see. It was awesome.
Brian, you maybe for political reasons you don't want to respond to this, but I think USA Hockey they've got a ton of money, ton of ability to raise money. I would love to see USA Hockey start a women's junior league to allow these top players to filter through into a league. And even if it's a pay-for-play like they do in most of Tier 2 in Canada for the men's, right? So kids can leave high school, get a year, maybe 2 years of playing. Even 1 year would be great before they can move on to college. Just that development for that 1 year of playing top players in the country every night, 20 minutes, What do you think of that philosophy?
Yeah, I would tell you that some of those things are organically just starting to happen. So in Canada, they have a U22 league, and specifically in the Toronto metro area, which is a big feeder. And so, some of those players have that opportunity to play a couple more years before coming to college. And even in the U.S., like that's U19 is the moniker. So those kids do have the ability to play within USA Hockey's model and take that extra post-high school year without having a hard time finding another place to play. So,
1 minute, boys. 1 minute.
Now, maybe real quick, Brian. So you think it's a big difference? I think mentally from 18 to 21-year-old, but do you think physically with women, because they usually hit it quicker than guys, is there a big difference from 18 to 21 physically too?
Well, 100%. I mean, so many players in my time, they're just starting to put it together as an upperclassman. They're 22 years old, and now they're done. They're not even close to their prime.
I agree.
Well,
their prime is probably that 26 age bracket, so they're not even close.
Boy, now you're getting at that 26 age bracket. That's some of the later North Dakota men's hockey teams. Coach Brian Idalski, thank you for joining us this morning. We are excited to talk women's hockey. Listen, good luck next year, Coach, and we're hoping you can coach the United States Olympic team one of these years. Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate it, guys. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Brian.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
West Funeral Home in your difficult time.
Have you planned for all your life's events? At West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, we would be honored to have that talk of a lifetime with you. Through pre-planning, we will help honor and celebrate your journey on Earth so you can leave your family a lasting, treasured memory. Discover the difference.
West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center. Little things make the difference.
Are you looking for a job? Or maybe you're a business trying to fill open positions on your team. Ignite FM WF is an online platform that's specific to our metro, where job seekers can discover available opportunities, take courses, and earn credentials, boost their resume, and connect with area employers. Likewise, our businesses can create profiles, showcase opportunities, and be discoverable by job seekers in the metro. Take that next step for your career or your business at ignitefmwf.com.
It's time to thank summer and all the fun things that go with it, like Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. It makes any time of year taste a little better, and enjoying a summer shandy reminds you of all the fun that's to come this summer. It's never too soon to think warm weather and enjoy a summer shandy from Leinenkugel's. Cheers to the warm weather coming. Enjoy the great smooth taste of a Leine Summer Shandy, the perfect beer to get us all in the right frame of mind and enjoy our weekend. Make any time taste like summer. Find Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy at your favorite liquor store.
Attention experienced senior level techs with 5 years of experience. Northern Plains Equipment, a certified Case IH dealer in Minot, North Dakota, is looking for you. Join the team and perform quality maintenance and repairs on all types of agricultural equipment. Northern Plains Equipment is a value-led, 100% employee-owned company, offering competitive wages, benefits, and job training. If you're ready to work in a great environment with great people, apply at plainsag.com. Northern Plains Equipment, Inc., proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
What does it mean to be an owner? When you work for Morton Buildings, you become an employee owner through Morton Buildings Employee Stock Ownership Plan. You become the driving force behind the company's vision and goals. You have a passion for what you do and a relentless drive to make Morton Buildings the best it can be. Don't just be an employee. Become an owner with Morton Buildings. Visit mortonbuildings.com/careers and join a select group of employee owners who have been focused on success for over a century.
It's time to go to Norway with a professional. My name is Carol T. Juven, and I have been in Norway 179 times and had over 49,000 people on tour in 98 countries of the world. Come and join me on my Norway luxury tour.
Take it from Carol, you'll love this luxury tour. July 15th through July 31st. All the details at juventours.com or give them a call.
See Norway at its very best. Fjords, waterfalls, and spectacular mountains. See Bergen, Norway's second largest city. Visit Fargo's sister city of Hamar. Meet and greet the mayor and local officials. We don't just tour Norway, we meet the people. Phone today, 1-800-343-0093. That phone again, toll free, 1-800-343-0093.
This will be a trip of a lifetime for you. July 15th through July 31st. Come along with Carol and the team.
More at juventours.com.
Welcome back to the hockey guys. The GOAT Wilson and the GOAT Doc Phil. And the wise one me, Jeff Bradall. Listen, we went through the NCHC scores. I'm going to quickly go through the Big Ten tournament for our Gopher Little M's out there. And then I know Wilson has some shout-outs he wants to make. But listen, Michigan 5, Notre Dame 4. Michigan went into that game being 14th ranked, right? They win Notre Dame, an unranked team, and they go to 10.
They keep losing. They can get up to 5.
Yeah, I don't know. They're like voting machines, right? Okay, Minnesota, we're number 8 coming into the weekend, beating an unranked team, Penn State, 5-1. Well, Minnesota moves up to number 6. Rhett Petlick, 2 goals. He's been a goal scorer this year. Snuggerud had picked up a goal. This is the big game. This is the giant slayer. Ohio State 3. Wisconsin 1.
They have Wisconsin's number because they swept them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And remember we talked about there. Maybe you don't want to play right now.
You talked about that earlier, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of on a little bit of a roll here.
But I'm just surprised that they've been knocking off these teams, but they haven't been moving up in any pairwise ranking. But
well, they've only won like 4 games this year. So.
Yeah, and Wisconsin went into the weekend 5th in the pairwise. That loss knocked them down to 7th. And I'll just reiterate before I turn the plane over to Coach Wills, Cameronburg scored last night. Local boy Ben Strindham was a giant playing amongst boys last night. And Zack Sandy with his first victory for Minnesota Duluth, knocking off in the goalpost, knocking off St. Cloud 6-5. St. Cloud was 17th in the pairwise. They lose, and they go up to 16th. Go figure, right? Wills.
I got a long list. Cervical, we're going to 10:30. Here's my list of shout-outs. At Dakota College of Bottineau women's hockey heading to St. Louis for the Nationals. Good luck, ladies. Peggy, I got to give you a shout-out. I got to hook over to Minnesota here. Edina, they're the real deal. Minnesota high school boys hockey, talent-wise. And I love the other day I read it, the rural hate the cities hate the private, and everybody hates Edina.
Yeah, I read that. I laughed about that when I read that.
Everybody hates Edina.
But how true is that, right?
Good luck, Peggy. I'm going to roll with Minnesota. We got to give a standing ovation and applause to Lou Nanny, 60 years doing color for Minnesota State hockey. Great man. He's a legend icon and all of hockey. And shout out to Lou Nanny. They said he's going to miss it. He goes, I don't know if I'm going to miss it in Palm Springs next year. But he said, but anyways, it was just cool. And he's a legend, and you got to give it to him. You got to give him a shout out.
Funny story. I was down at the Under-18 Worlds in Frisco, Texas, and he was there as well. And we were both heading out to the airport, and I just went over and introduced myself. I bet we talked for 15 minutes. He knew all these people in Fargo, and he's just a man of the world, and he's just so humble about everything.
He remembers everything.
He does. He remembered the Under-18 Worlds up here. I mean, he's just a neat guy.
I laugh at one of the stories I heard. He comes from Canada too, and I'm not exact. I know he's east side.
Fort Francis boy, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's farther. I don't want to say. But anyways,
he's an Ontarian.
He's an Ontarian, but he comes down to the States like I did, and the guy come up to him in college and go, "Are you
Sault Ste. Marie?"
He might be there. I'm pretty close. But anyways, they asked him, "Are you a freshman?" He goes, "No, I'm not a Frenchman." Just like me, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, right? Anyways, it was pretty cool. Another shout out I got to do, and the day of the athlete that isn't a good student has gone by the wayside. Jeff, you wrote them down too. It's like 112 players in the league that
65%.
65%
honor roll.
Honor roll. 12 players all academic from UMD.
Yeah.
I think when we played, our honor roll was 2.3 GPA. Now the honor roll is like 3.5. So the GPA of that 65% of those players playing in the NCHC, they are epitome of student athletes.
Well, and I think part of it is,
or they got really smart girlfriends.
Well, no, I mean part of it is the education process has changed. With the advent of the laptop computer and they're on the road, they can do a lot of their school. There's a lot of downtime.
You were right.
And they've got all those student advisors now that we never had, and really kind of towing them in and saying, hey, you got to get this done. And they can do it right on their laptop. And all these kids, as you know, between their phone and their laptop, that's what they always do.
And study hall right after they have lunch or supper.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know what?
It's a good thing.
Listen, if you were a Division I college coach, would you really put up with a player that's a third, fourth, second line, first line? Forget the line that's failing school when you could bring in another kid. You don't have to worry about that.
Right. Well,
I mean,
Duluth had that happen. But I think the reality is, and we always bash the NCAA, but that's one thing that they did right. They made sure that the kids were going to school, and if you weren't going to school, you're not going to play. And I think that makes the person just a better individual in general.
But you're right, technology-wise, they're on the bus, they're on the plane, they pull out the laptop, they can do work, they got programs online, Canvas programs. Even when I sub, kids are online, they're so connected with technology. There's no excuse for missing things or assignments, so it's just a better deal. But I agree, NCAA does a good job. Academics is important. And we talked about this last week too. So it's a good deal. And the day of picking up a problem child, a poor athlete, poor attitude student, it's not there anymore.
No.
I got to give.
And if it is, you've got three other guys that are just the opposite, and it's like, well, I'll take them.
But I remember my grades in high school. I had one F and 4 Ds, and my dad said, what's wrong, right? And I go, I don't know. He said, you're spending too much time studying in one area.
The rink.
I was going to say, you're learning, Will. Congrats.
No, that was non-negotiable with my dad. I had structured homework every night.
Oh, go to bed, Pat.
Exactly.
You got to tell that story real quick. Since I said
we're out of time. Dang, we're out of time.
Pat is Wilson's brother. He doesn't look like Wilson. He didn't look like Arden. He was the postmaster's baby, I think. But the go to bed, Pat is a story we have to tell down the road. But some interesting discussion. We wanted to have a show on women's college hockey, and I hope you enjoyed it. We're
going to continue that. We'll see if we can get some of the female players.
Trying to get her on yet. She was at the rink, and it just didn't work out with her young kids.
Let's see if we get some of the local girls that have played at the elite level, and we'll get them on and get their perspective, too, because I'm sure it's changed.
Last year we had the Myers girls.
Yeah, maybe we get Gigi Marvin on and get some,
Now he's leaning on the Lamoureux sisters, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen. Some good championship hockey tonight in the state of Minnesota.
Right.
You can watch that. And some good games on TV with North Dakota and Omaha and Denver and CC. And the big game, I think, Western Michigan's going to have to win. St. Cloud's going to have to win. Omaha's going to have to win.
Wisconsin's going to have to win.
Wisconsin's going to have to win.
That's the big one. Wow.
That is a big one. But listen, we enjoyed our show. We hope you did. We'll be back next week at the same time on this station. Wills?
Have a safe weekend.
Enjoy the hockey.
At Zeus Sales and Equipment, they offer an impressive range of